referral service, so I'm gonna get to keep all the commission.
Good for you. Good for you.
Big transition away from that crutch, but.
Yeah, that's a nasty drug. You want to get rid of that stuff. Yes.
I had a deal that looked like it wasn't going to go through because of lending, so I hopped on the phone with Bart and did a rescore, and now there's some hope that we still might be able to get it done.
Awesome. Nice. Hope is good. Hope is good. Good for reaching
Bart
out.
is great.
Yeah, he
Bart is
is.
great,
No
yeah.
question about it.
That's awesome.
Good for you. Good for you. Malachi.
One of those for sale by owners I talked about last week. They've signed so I can market their property, and I'm holding an open house next Sunday there.
Yes, awesome.
Nice job,
So a lot
nice
of good
job.
luck with for sale by owners. Good job.
Who else?
Are you just doing that for free, or have they signed on with you as a seller?
I'm not a seller, but I'm marketing it, and
Yeah.
I do have signs so that if I bring them a buyer, I get full commission.
Nice.
Yeah, definitely make sure that you have that, because in the court of law, you would get nothing.
No,
But they haven't signed anything and you're holding an open house for them? Is
What?
that the case? They haven't signed anything?
No, they have. So
Oh, they have, okay.
If I bring them a buyer, I have.
You haven't agreed.
Gotcha.
We haven't agreed to do it.
Good for you.
It's actually a structured type source of lead generation in the coaching program. So if anybody has not had that conversation with me and you'd like to, let's chat.
It's definitely one of the quickest sources right there is for open houses, so having that agreement. Who else? I want to hear from everybody today. Nobody hides.
A listing, and I have.
What kind of
some land.
listing? Tell me about
Home
it.
in Gorham.
Performance? Oh, nice. Okay. Price point?
2 to 250.
2 to 250. Just wide open. We haven't nailed the price yet.
I think she wants 230.
Okay. What are the comps telling you?
It was saying 2.
Okay. So let's make sure that we really learn how to educate. If you need some
Right.
help with that,
Yeah.
we can work
Yeah,
with you on
I
that.
talked
Good for
about
you.
it with her, but she's not ready to do that, so.
Okay. I can help you with some scripts on that too.
Right,
Yeah.
right, and I've got some land that I'm working on the docs for that right now.
Nice.
So.
Congratulations. Good. Who else? Make something up. I want to hear from everybody.
I've got
Scott.
a potential client who is in a estate situation. Somebody passed away recently. They have a house on Shabib. The wife, this is sticky. The wife wants to keep it because it was her parents. The husband wants to sell it because it really makes no sense to keep it financially for them. I'm trying to go over the comps with them. I don't want to force them into this, to keeping it or selling it, but I at least want to let them know where they're going to stand financially. And there's going to be some issues with the other sibling, her other sibling, because they don't want it, but they want a lot of money.
Yeah.
She wants it, but she doesn't want to pay out a lot of money. He doesn't want it at all. So there's a lot going on, but at least I'm going over everything, trying to let them know where they're going to be financially.
Good.
Both in terms of the price of it and if they keep it. I have a lot of experience in rental properties and especially vacation rental properties, so let them know what they're getting into financially, and if they still want it, good luck to them, but if they don't, they don't.
Good. Give them that great advice that you're in the market knowledge that you have on that. If you need some help with that, after.
Yeah, I mean, in Shabib, there's not much to look at
No.
in terms of what's sold. You know, it's not that hard. It's like 5 properties in the last 500 days or something. In that price range, there's some good ocean properties.
Sure. Yeah. This guy down the other end of the table here, he knows a little bit about the islands. So he owns one of them, or at least part of it. Who's next?
Speaking of the islands and estate sales, one of my friends on Buston's mother just passed away, and I did a CMA for both of the properties that they have for probate purposes. And in the spring, I believe that I'll be listing one of those. I know they're going to live in one, but they're going to probably sell the other one off, and I've already got 2 buyers lined up for that. So.
You guys might want to grab coffee together.
Because you can't get out there right now.
Yeah, zombies. They won't let you on the island.
Yeah.
No ferry service. No ferry service. Who else?
First it has to look at
Hate to be done.
Hi. So on Sunday, I got a call from an agent here. She was on the south side of the property, and there were some issues with the property, and they were trying to figure out how to structure the deal and keep it going. And the price point was a little under $200,000, and they're trying to figure out how to compensate the buyer for work that needed to be completed by doing an escrow holdback. it wasn't.
Does everybody know what an escrow holdback is?
Okay, no.
Because
Sorry, I
that's a big mouthful.
So an escrow holdback is an item that, all parties agree to hold back a certain amount of funds at the time of closing for a repair that is necessary. That's a whole class in itself, because escrow holdbacks are very specific, and majority of the time, they're not allowed. People throw the term around like, hey, we'll just do an escrow holdback for it, but there are very few circumstances where it fits in. For instance, if you have an issue right now and it's peeling and chipping paint, you can do an escrow holdback for that because it's not an ideal time to be painting anymore. And that has to be an agreement signed by all parties, and everybody has to know who is fronting the money. Most of the time, who is it? Seller. I've had many occasions lately where people are all pitching in, and so that's important. In this particular circumstance, it was electrical work that the borrower wanted done, okay? It wasn't something that was a safety issue, but it was an upgrade that was needed. The borrower wanted it done. And so an escrow holdback would not be allowable for that situation for two reasons. One is it's not a safety issue that was called out on the appraisal, so it's not a mandatory item that their lender would require. And two, all of us should be aware of this. If we do an escrow holdback for something like that and it's not done before closing, what if they start tearing into walls and stuff and you run into more issues, right? And then guess what happens? There's not enough money there to newly fix the problem. So from a liability standpoint, banks don't want to do that. That's one of the big reasons why. Because when you start opening up walls and a can of worms, what happens?
Worms come
And
up.
is it the lender who ultimately decides whether that's okay to do?
The majority of the time it is the lender. Yep, and the majority of the time it's a no.
Yeah, I'm trying to work on that right now, and the lender said probably not, so.
Right, and so
Chat after.
there are some nuances that, so call me and I can work you
Please,
through
yeah.
it. But,
Yeah, if you get into a situation like that, before you start guessing, go right to the source.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't even a deal I'm involved in, but the loan officer was not answering for days, and they were trying to figure this out, and so they're trying to say, hey, what could we do? In the end, this scenario was an easy fix that nobody thought of. And guys, this is like not your wheelhouse, right? So a lender can't expect you to know all of the nuances of what can be done, and that's why, I hear all the time, because I'm not here as often, Bart's a tremendous resource. He works on deals all day long that are not ours, and so do I. But that's the beauty of building relationships. This was an easy fix. The seller can give seller concessions to the buyer. They were zero. The first question I asked, she's like, no, why? And I said, how much is it? She said, $5,400. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm not doing this loan, but I can guarantee you, based on the purchase price, the taxes, the loan product, I know they're escrowing. There's enough money to simply give a seller credit on that settlement statement. The borrower retains the money. The borrower uses the money to then facilitate the repair that they are requiring in order to make this happen, and it's done.
Before closing?
Nope, that's done at the time of closing. Yep. In this particular situation, it wasn't something the appraisal was requiring. It was something a borrower wanted, right? They're first-time home buyers, they didn't feel comfortable moving in the house. Someone else said, oh, that has to be done now, it's a safety issue. I live in a house with that same thing right now. So it's just, everybody in this room knows somebody else that knows something, right? Everybody knows something. So in this situation, it was done at the closing table, a simple exchange of concessions to the buyer, $5,400 less they're bringing to closing, they'll use that money to take care of it after closing.
So it didn't change the sale price?
It didn't.
The
No, because
appraisal wasn't affected? Or?
No, the seller had agreed to figure it out,
Okay.
but nobody could get the work done prior to closing.
It was just earmarked.
So
Was it not on an ICA then?
It was on an ICA, but with something like that, what you do with your ICA is you simply state, seller agrees to pay $5,400 toward buyer's closing costs. Nobody needs to know why, because at that point, if you start saying because of electrical work, then some lenders are gonna say, what electrical work, explain. Sorry, that was way long-winded.
No, sorry.
So that's the kind of wealth of information you have in-house, amongst probably well over 1,000 years of experience in-house. So don't ever feel like you're going this alone. Matter of fact, please don't go it alone. Okay, that's when we get into issues, and 80% of what we handle is just communication. It's seeking first to understand, and there's typically a work through. And people that have done it before you, like Gary says, there's people that have come before us. Let's always make sure we do that. So I love having Tamika and Bart with us on board. Tell me something good. Time for a few more people. Yes.
Well, I went
Let me know your name too.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm Carla.
Carla. Good to
Yep.
see you again, Carla.
You too. I went to the class yesterday that Nick Royce did with the financial planning, which is a great aha moment for me to help kind of before you even start this process, know where you're going, because you need to know your numbers when you're starting your business. So that was a great class for me.
And that class is uploaded to the Facebook for KW Maine.
Half of it.
Oh, only half of it made it. So you can watch half of that class
I'm going to take you through all 4 business models because I think I asked you last week, Carla, what were your numbers? Yeah. So we're gonna go through all of those business models, and we'll take time to go through each of them because at Keller Williams we don't teach you how to get a sale because the sale is only worth a sale. We teach you a skill that you can scale into a business for a lifetime. And as I talked about before, don't think of your business as just the next 5 years. Think of your business 50 years from now, because you all have the ability to grow a 50-year business. You bring in one person and you train them that has 30 years of livelihood in this business. You've got a 50-year-old business so we tend to think very short-term in business. A couple more ahas that I haven't heard from folks yet. Yes.
We did a wedding show this weekend.
Good job.
Got tons of leads.
Yeah.
Lots of contacts.
How did you take the leads?
We did a raffle,
Good.
and they came right to the table. We had people coming to us asking questions, which was nice.
So you did
For a change.
reverse lead generation.
Right.
Yeah, good for you.
Where is it?
We had a loan officer there, another agent, and plus after the show, they give you a list of everybody that attended,
Sure.
their email addresses, everything.
Think about that coming up. You've got all your home shows coming up over the winter time. You've got spring shows. You've got landscaping shows. Find out where people are going and then get co-branded into those things.
You bought a table there, is that what you mean?
Yep.
How much is it?
The table was $450. I did it with another agent and a loan officer. We split it.
You end up paying more than that for leads. Yeah, right? Yeah, so good opportunity. Think of your fairs too. Fair time, we don't see enough realtors at the fairs. We used to do a booth at the Cumberland County Fair. We got leads for the whole year at that booth. Who else? 2 more. Yes, good morning.
Doing an open house
You
this
are?
weekend, Erica.
Hey Erica, good to see you. Open house this weekend, where's it at?
Limerick.
Limerick.
We're taking the country by storm.
Is it on the
We're taking the countryside by storm.
Is it on the 4 side in Limerick?
Yes.
Down by the
Yes.
causeway?
No.
Beautiful. Limerick's beautiful. One more. John.
So John, in some negotiations, I ended up helping my client save between $4,000 and $6,000.
Great job. Good job.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's part of your value proposition going forward, is that you are able to save people money in the transaction process. And you want to keep that, want to track those numbers so that you have a percentage of how much you've saved over the course of a year for folks. Because that becomes a very strong value proposition, especially if you're a buyer's agent. That's a major thing. If you're a seller's agent, how much are you actually saving for your seller or making for your seller? So that's why we track numbers. The reason I always start with tell me something good is if you can't focus on something good, chances are you're focused on something negative. And whatever you focus on expands in your life. And not only in your business, it actually translates into your personal life as well. So at Keller Williams, we're more concerned about who you become than what you do. I hope you understand that. That's why our family's so passionate about this company, because it's changed who we are. And in the process of changing our businesses, gave us a lot of different opportunities as well. So that's why I always focus there. I'll always go there first. So please come ready to share something, because there could be somebody next to you that needs to hear something good. And that's just as important too. We do things together as a family. We really believe in that. So 3 things we talked about last week, and then I've got something to share with you that's timely for the season we're going into. One is I want to hear how it went for you when you did those phone calls into your sphere saying, who do you know that I should know? And the premise around that is if you want to double your database, talk to the people in your database, they'll want to introduce you to the best person they know. Okay? So you're going to assure yourself to be talking to that person's caliber or above. They're typically not going to introduce you to somebody that, is their outlaw. It's going to be somebody that they really respect. That's how you generate a great sphere of influence. None of us have a big enough sphere of influence, maybe Tamika, okay? The sphere of influence really comes down to, who do you know that I should know? And in the state of Maine, it doesn't take very long before you find somebody you're related to, right? So it's kind of fun to do that. So who did that this week? And what did you run into? John?
So I ran into that situation where I actually took a tree, and the guy knew I was doing real estate, but he thought I was doing it part-time. And once he found out I was doing it full-time, he kind of warmed up through the walking around, and he ended up in the process mentioning 3 people that are looking to buy a house fairly soon.
We laugh, because we're gonna drill down on fairly soon.
Yeah, fairly soon is code word for ask me a question. Exactly. Great, good job, good job. So wow, right off the bat. How many people do you estimate that you added to your database last week?
100.
100. So leads or contacts, bona fide contacts? I guess we need to understand the difference, okay? So here's the difference. A lead is when you get somebody's information and you don't necessarily have permission to communicate with them more than just one way. Okay? How many people here have gotten Pella window mailers in your mailbox in the last 2 months? Because it's window season. How many of you need windows? And you still got the mailer, right? It's because they had permission to have one-way conversation with you, and the permission was they got your email address, your address, or something. That's a lead. It turns into a contact as soon as you have a conversation with the person, and that person gives you permission to contact them about something. Then it's a two-way. So instead, one way is a direct mailer, two-way is your DTD2 call, do the database 2 call. They've given you permission, they'd like to know what their homes were, they want to talk to you on an ongoing basis. So were those leads or were those contacts now that we've qualified that?
Leads.
Leads. So now you've got some work to do to turn them into contacts. Every 16 contacts that you put into a systemized databasing system, like the KW command that we're all building together, equals 1 closing. That's the new research. When we look at top agents around the country, that's the research that we're getting from them. So every 16, and that doesn't happen overnight. You don't plant corn in the morning and get to eat corn at night. That's over a period of time, about 18 to 24 months. Yes?
So just so I'm clear, all your leads are gonna go into command.
Your leads will go into command.
And that's where you're trying to convert them to contact.
Yeah, you'll use the 19. You'll use the 19 touch system there. 36 is called 19 to convert, and then you've got the 36 touch, which is when you've got the permission. Now with designs, you can literally tailor make. You know, I get advertisements for sailing. I'm not a sailor. I like to sail, but I would never move to a marina. I would move on a golf course. None of you are sending me postcards about golf courses. See, that's the difference. At Keller Williams with Command, we'll be able to specialize with our AI and you knowing that person exactly what design you can send them for a smart plan. So you can send out 1,000 different smart plans to meet 1,000 different value bases. Does that make sense? Critical you do that because Amazon's already done it. And Amazon's going to start a real estate company and they'll announce it overnight. That's why we have protected you with all this technology. We've even brought on Keller Mortgage, which we work in concert with because Keller can't do everything, you guys can't do everything. Together we can do a whole lot of things. We are protecting you because when Amazon drops the ball and says we're in real estate, whose information do they have already? And what do they know your preferences?
Yes.
They already know it all. So that's why we're really looking to make sure that we build a moat, as Gary says, around that database. So the more people that you get in your database, the better. Did you provide anybody?
So Mark, before we go on, if we can just name one action step, I like to do it that way because if we summarize at the end, we won't get it. So did you guys all write down, go into KW Designs and get familiar with the designs that are in there? If you didn't, go ahead and write that down.
Is that directly?
It's yes.
Yeah, and I'm sure productivity, the locker room will actually, you guys will actually do some classes on that.
We just have so much to do.
Sure.
We can't right now.
So here's the question. Did you last week do what we suggested? Did you call people in your sphere to double your database? There's no right or wrong, there's no judgment. This is what I will do though, if you want me to coach with you guys, is when I share something with you, I'm just gonna have to ask you to have faith that this stuff is proven. I coach with Gary Keller and John Prescott, Jay Papasan. So I'm only gonna share with you what these guys have found from observing realtors for their entire life. Okay, so if I ask you to do something, go on faith that if you do it, you're gonna get results. If you don't, that's okay. You just may not get the results that you're hoping for. So, and I don't want to come off as being like I know everything, because I don't, although I'm exposed to some pretty amazing stuff. And I'd just like to be able to bring that to you in a very small setting. I typically have 100, 150 people that I'm coaching with at one time. So this is really cool. I love this. So if you didn't do it, write it down right now. Perhaps you can start right now, because it doesn't matter where you start, it matters where you finish. So anyone, Tamika, you could do this. Who do you know that I should know? And I know you do it all the time because I'm on boards with you and I see how you communicate with folks. Who do you know that I should know? You're going to make just by asking that question.
Tamika already wrote it down. I heard it.
You're going to get at least the caliber of the person that you like in your sphere of influence already.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, sure.
Does it have to be a phone call? Can it be an email?
Email's not very personal. Let's stay away from that stuff. Yeah. I mean, the only asset you'll ever have in this business is your book of business. If you ever thought about selling your business, Scott, I know you're a traditional owner.
Yeah.
The only thing you've got to sell is your book of business. And in real estate, what Gary's always taught us is your business is your database. So the more you can stay in touch with it, the better. Now, could you do an email? You could. You're just going to get a lot lower return on your effort. Yeah, if that makes sense. There are other things for emails that work much better than that. So who else? Anyone else have some success in that one area that we talked about?
Malachi has some experience.
I know some of you may not even been here last week, and that's cool too. I get it.
Share your experience, Malachi.
With
Mark might be able to help you with your business-to-business contacts.
with business.
We have not there yet. Just with your database. I just want to make sure we cleared that out yet. So I want to help you with things that will grow your business fast, and that right there will grow your business quickly, and it costs absolutely nothing. Okay, absolutely nothing. Yes.
So I had already kind of called my sphere of influence.
What's kind of called?
I had I left messages with some. I didn't have direct conversations with all of them. Through Bold,
Yeah.
and the script thing came in Bold, and that was done within the last 2 weeks. So, and I'm not particularly close friends with any of my sphere of influence. I mean, I have a couple close friends, and they always know what's going on in my real estate world. But I felt like for myself, it would have been too soon to call these people back up and then start the who do you know that I should know. And not that I won't do it, but I just feel like, you don't want to cram 12 touches into a month. You got to kind of...
You haven't had a touch yet.
Well, I did through Bold when I called some of them.
But you said that you didn't get through to most of them.
I spoke with some of them and I left messages with others.
So some of them is what?
How many did I speak with?
And please don't take this as anything more than just coaching, because sometimes we tell our brain something that we want it to believe, and it's really not true. Like everybody in my database knows I'm a realtor. You found that out not to be true, right? And then what did you get from it? Yeah, right on. So what I'm just saying is it's never too much, because in this day and age, everybody has call or ID on their phone.
Yeah. I just don't want to get to a point where somebody blocks me because every time I call them, it's about business.
I would say stop judging people.
Okay.
Yeah, stop judging, because you have so much value to bring to them. There's just a lot going on in the world, and sometimes you can't take a call. I missed 2 phone calls while I was in the car in the parking lot because my mom was on the phone with me. Not that I didn't want to take them. And I may not get back to them because I may forget. So up to them to remind me. So you have great value to remind you. So yeah, just don't be a pest. Call them again. You don't have to leave a message. They'll know who's calling them.
Right.
Yeah. And the goal is right now, until your business is big enough, right now, all those people, you need to get your message out to them.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because they won't all, to make 100 contacts, you're probably going to have to do at least 100 calls.
I got.
Beyond that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like 200 calls to make 100 contacts.
Right.
Anecdotally, the buyer that I got was a referral from a friend who I grew up with, who follows me on social media, who
she texted me and was like, yeah, you're a real estate agent in Portland, Maine, right? And I was like, yeah, I posted like 12 times and you liked it, but she didn't, I was surprised that she didn't know that just because of like what I posted and stuff, but it's a perfect example that.
Well, it's because of our humanness. We just think people know us because we like us. We like me. I like me. Everyone must know me. They must know me.
And I think about it all the time.
Yeah,
That's all I think about, so
They
it
don't.
seems obvious.
They really don't.
Doesn't it say on your account, like, Keller Williams, or, you know,
Yeah.
realtor with Keller Williams?
Yeah, it does, but she's busy. I mean, she's in PA school, you know, I look at it from that point, she's got 1,000 things in her brain, and like, there was a tiny little thing that set her off that was like, oh, I think I do know a real estate agent, you know, in Portland,
Yeah.
and then she texted me.
So just
but
take this for the truth.
That was like.
What you think people know of you, they really don't.
They don't.
Because they're busy with their world.
Mhm.
Think
They
about
don't
it.
care. They want to send referrals.
What's your friend's husband do for work? You don't know, do you?
He's a gold coach.
That's what you have to think of in your real estate business. Because you survive, if you really want to thrive, you thrive on referrals. So that's just the kind of the gauge that I use. Does my friend's husband, do I know what she does for work? Or he does for work? Yeah. And I've been taught this for 20 plus years. No one knows you like you think they know you. We just don't. That's why Park Avenue has to spend billions of dollars a year to think of Mercedes-Benz when you think of a car. They've paid billions of dollars to make sure you have that imprint on your head. We don't have that kind of money to throw around in our database. So we just connect with people. Yes.
So I'll just give another testimony to that. My best friend, like he was my best man at my wedding, and we talked like probably every week. I called him up with that line, who do you know that I should know? And he rattled off 2 people to me. They were handy type people, you know, an electrician and an inspector.
Yeah.
But that right there could lead to something. So and we talk about real estate, so it's like just asking the right question.
It's worthy of asking everyone you bump into.
Right.
I mean, even your children. Ask them, who do you know that I don't know? That's a safety question. It's a good thing for you to ask. So it's a great question to ask. So go ahead and turn to the person left or right to you, find a partner, and go ahead and practice that one script.
Holly, come on up.
What's up,
Got
Doc?
an extra chair up there.
Not too much for you.
Come on up to this one.
I don't know.
I should know. I think we know the same people.
Hold on. I asked you to practice the script. That's it.
I'm Nancy. Hi.
That's it. Don't get into it, because this is where we go. This is where we go off.
And the script is, who do you
Just practice the script, and then the other person says it. Because if you get off on that, when we talk about script practice, you think it's all of a sudden it's about talking about what happened at the game last night, and that's not where we go. Okay. So practice the script. Each do it 2 times.
Hey, John. Hey, thanks for sharing that thought. Really appreciate it. You can help me out. Grow my database for the 2000.
Scott, who do you know that I should know?
I know a lot of people here.
I know you do. Who do you know that I should know?
And these are just a little bit. Now, why do you not need to know that?
Well, you know, in business in town, it's always good to know people like you.
Yeah, well, that's a feeling.
You want to contact her? Should I ask you?
There you go. Be careful about. All right, 1, 2, 3. Back again. Okay, it sounded like a whole lot more than just who do you know. You're making it more complicated than it has to be.
Well, we were trying to
Who do you-
move forward with then inserting the who do you know that I should know. We're not forwarding?
I just said practice the script. Really, literally, practice that script. Now you can use the forward. That's part of your EQ, your emotional quotient. Okay, you can use that after, and I appreciate that. Just practice that script. So right now, just practice the script. Show me how you can do it. One person, then the next person. Because this will all add up to making it really purposeful for you.
Well,
Just practice the script.
No one knew I called you.
That's pretty good. Hey, I'm just calling around somebody real estate.
No, you don't want to do that.
Oh, when you said no, don't qualify, I was wondering. Don't say
Because if you say real estate, now I'm gonna qualify that, and go, oh, I don't wanna give them that name. So 1, 2, 3. This is the way, if you were gonna practice with Gary Keller, you would do it. And every time I hear you go off script, I will tell you you're off script. Watch this. Scott, how's the market?
It's great, Mark. Why do you ask?
You want these scripts to become so much you that they're spontaneous. I'm not asking you to be creative right now. You don't have enough time in service to be creative. Just say the script. Because if you just say it in here, when we get out there, you're going to say it how you want to anyways. In here, I just really want you to practice your mind hearing it. And again, don't take this as anything more than I really care about you. And I've coached a lot of agents over the years. If you get creative first, you're building your house on creativity, not on stability. Okay? Good job. Good job. And that was the script right there. How's the market? Does anyone ask you that?
Yeah, you never know what to say.
During the holiday season, you're going to be getting that all the time, and I hear agents all the time go, well, geez, it's great for buyers right now. And well, that person may not be a buyer. That person may have a parent that just died, and they're wondering if it's a good time to sell their house. So you always play tennis with people. And where do you win in tennis? When the ball is in the what? Other person's court. So Scott said what? He said, great. Why do you ask? Now it's on me. Now Scott can be present and listen. And what we do sometimes as realtors, and I'm one of you as well, we talk and talk and talk and talk and talk, and that other person's like, that person doesn't really care about me. I want to find out if this is okay for my mom. So just be thinking of that. Seek first, understand is part of our Y4C2Ts. All right, second thing that we asked you guys to do. So if you didn't do that, or if you did it, keep doing it. Add people to your database. Just asking that question. You'll be amazed. And John, congratulations on getting some great results from that right off the bat. Continue to do that. That script for you will build your database. And your database, every 16 you put in there equals what?
The closing.
Closing. Are you guys in this for money, or is this just a hobby for folks? Because for some people it's a hobby, and that's okay. It's a different tactic. If you want to make a lot of money, build that database. Build that database. Okay, the second thing we talked about was connecting with local businesses. Again, this is a really strong technique to build your database. And we talked about using the local insight script for command. Did anyone get a chance to do that this week?
I did.
Awesome. I'd love to hear about it.
B&B.
You went to B&Bs?
Yeah, I did. I did B&B. Isn't it business to business?
Business to business, yeah.
Yeah.
B2B.
B2B. So I went to just a few, wherever I was. Like I was in Wells on Saturday, so I went to one of my favorite restaurants down there, Litchfield's, and got a card and talked to them and put my card out. I tried to do, I was in Saco, so I tried to do places where I thought that people might be interested. There's a place called Vic's, which is like this.
So what does it sound like when you walk in?
What do you say?
Is it purposeful, or are you just kind of casually saying, "Hey, I'm here and love your place"? Or?
Well, I kind of look around and I'm like, can I speak with the owner? And this lady at Vic's, she's like, I'm the owner, and they're kind of a little standoffish at first. I'm like, I just say who I am. I'm Holly Mooney from Keller Williams, and what we're trying to do is we're trying to just talk with local businesses and get a business card so that we can actually put you into our app. And when people are asking us, where to go, or what's the best restaurant, or what's a good place to go find some wine, and we can have you right in there and show them where you're at, and things like that.
I love that. Can I share something with you? See, what our goal is to become known as the expert in the community, and it's not to get business cards, because business cards connotes that we're going to do business with them. What we're really going to do, and I love your approach, and if it's working for you, keep going with it. This is what we do across the country is I pop in and I say, Holly, hey, I just wanted to come by and spend 5 or 10 minutes, let you know what we're kind of doing with our new Keller Williams consumer app. Do you have any time in the next day or two for you to drop by?
Yes, I do.
Okay, great. When would that be a good time? Tomorrow morning at 7? I'll be there tomorrow morning at 7, no problem. Holly, you know what? I'm so excited that you had me come by. Really, I've enjoyed coming to your restaurant for the last 5 years. You can tell, can't you? Thank you so much for always being great with your customer service. You know what? I want to highlight you in my consumer app because you're so special to our neighborhood. Tell me something that you really love about your business. And then I'm going to get a quote from you. I'm going to snap a few pictures and I'm going to upload it to our commercial app. Let me show you what that app's going to look like. And then what I mentioned yesterday is you could, or last week, grab the video from KW Connect. It's 3 minutes or 2 minutes, if that, and show them what that app's going to look like when it comes out. It's going to come out, I'm not sure exactly when, it will come out. And when it comes back out again, I'm going to come by and show you what it looks like. Absolute new cost to you. And it's a thank you from me to you for making it much easier for us to bring families to this community.
So it's more coming from gratitude.
It's a thank you.
I was getting my business card for bold because we had to bring in 5.
Yeah, that's cool. Whatever you have.
But it's more coming from gratitude, but then it's also following up and making sure I do go back and show them that.
It's always about the communication. Yeah. It's never about a lot of people are going to give away pies in the next week. It's not about the pie. It's about the call before the pie. It's about the call after the pie. It's about the calls. It's not about the pie. Because we're not bakers, right? So we care less about the pie. We care about talking to the people. Hey, want to make sure you clear the day to come on into the office, grab a pie. We'd love to see you. Bring the kids. We'd love to do, we got some face painting for them, whatever. We want to see you there. Hey, we didn't see you there the other day, or thanks for coming the other day. It's about the communication about the event. So that's really what we're talking about with the Insight.
Okay.
Go thank businesses. And we had a great example of that with Scott. Scott's been in business for 30 years with 3 locations. And I asked him, some of you were here, I said, did you ever get thanked by anyone for being in business? And Scott, what did you say?
No.
Never. So if I come in and thank Scott as a business owner for being a great member of our community, am I different? Am I memorable? How much did it cost? You don't need a lot of money. You just need to strategically use options.
And I would be.
What's that?
I would be grateful if somebody put me in the Insight.
Of course you would.
If somebody showed me first what the app was, some other ones that are in there, and I said, this is free, and then I get to put my business
Frankly,
in
it's
there.
going to be a lot better than what most people are paying to have in this local newspaper we have that has hardly anybody reading it anymore.
Right. I mean, I pay a lot of money for.
I'll put you in mine.
There you go.
I'll be in my own.
Well, as many insights, you might say, well, geez, that diner has 5 insights from Keller Williams agents. Good. Because we have 5 different perspectives. And guess what? Who's are they going to pay the most attention to? They're going to pay the most attention to the person that they know from Keller Williams that put the insight in. All the other ones just make it even look that much better. Don't you feel better when you see 5-star reviews at the resort that you just paid $8,000 to go to for a week? And then you see a 5-star, you see another 5-star, and doesn't it make you feel better? Like, ooh, I think I made the right choice. Yeah, that's kind of what we're doing there. So if you didn't do that last week, that's what we're looking for. So
can I just offer to people have great results stopping in at fire stations, and police stations. If you haven't stopped into the local fire station for thanking them for their service, drop off some donuts, maybe do that consistently, boy, those people will get to know you fast. So don't forget your fire stations, police stations, and other emergency services that are out there.
Transfer stations.
Transfer stations, I never even thought about that.
Hey, anywhere where somebody's going to be standing in the cold or whatever, bring them a coffee or a cocoa, they'll never forget. And do it regularly, like Tammy said.
Could you ask if they have like a bulletin board in their break room and bring a flyer with tear-off numbers on the bottom?
You could, but that's really salesy.
Yeah.
That's really salesy. I mean, when I see that, I don't really necessarily look at that as being professional. When I see them in every pizza shop and I see all these cards plastered to it.
Yeah.
You know what? I'd rather make that connection with you, and then whenever you think of real estate, you think of me. And then if I stay in touch with you and I say, who do you know that I should know, Tim? Now we're getting going. And if I solve a problem for you or one of your friends, it just continues to blow up. And it's viral. You can build your business at very little cost to you when you do these techniques. The only thing it's going to do is it's take your time. My premise is that most of you like the humans, right? You like the humans? So if you like the humans, go out and just go talk to humans.
So when can you pass the card to them so they know who you are if they don't see you every week?
Well, you could give them a card, sure, if you'd like. More importantly,
That's not the focus of the.
more importantly than the card, matter of fact, we don't use cards at Keller Williams anymore. At least we shouldn't, because we've got our old Kelly system and everything. You want to get their card so that you can institute.
So I can give them the app that they can follow me, so to speak, on.
See, if they have your name, that's only part of the power quotient. The real power quotient is when you have their information and you can start coming from contribution and feeding them. Hey, how about my app? How about this?
Right.
How about if I come by and give a home valuation to your home? You know?
Oftentimes, a meeting like you're talking about, before, if you're offering something or offering to do something before you leave, they're going to say, hey, what can I do for you?
Absolutely.
And that's when they've opened the door for you.
That's where the magic happens. You give and then you receive. So it's really about getting in the business of giving as much as you can. Always get their information so that you can give. If you don't have their information, you can't give. And then it's a lead. It's only one way. That way, then you're only sending them window advertisements, and really what they want is somebody to plow their driveway. Does that make sense? Yeah. Sometimes I have to use pictures for me to even understand it. So, go ahead right now and grab somebody next to you, because if we don't practice it here, and Gary teaches us statistically, if you do something within the first 24 hours towards your goal of the week, you're going to have a bigger chance of getting it done by 80%. So let's go ahead and just practice that. Just practice just a quick little conversation. Start with a phone call. That's all I want you to do is the phone call. May I come by? I'd love to show you something that we'd like to offer to you as a gift for being a great neighbor in our community. I want to thank you. Okay? Doesn't have to be perfect. Just share a conversation. Scott shares something with somebody. All right. Stop. Just a minute, stop. First thing I want to hear come out of your mouth, because this is going to make you different than every other realtor that they're not going to talk to anyways, because they don't really care. You're going to care enough to call these folks and first just say, I want to thank you for being a great business in our community. And then, if you said that, great. Always start with that, because that automatically turns you into somebody very different, and their guards come down. Their guards come right down. They don't think that you're trying to sell them on something. Just say thank you. Does everyone get that? Mm-hmm. Good, say it with me. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for being a great business owner in our town.
Thank you.
One more time. Thank you for being a great business owner in our town.
Thank you for being a great business owner in our town.
Just by doing that, has anyone ever done that to you in 30 years and owning a business?
Not a general person. I mean,
No.
some of my customers.
Maybe your customers.
It's helped my store. It's really helped my family.
There you go.
But nobody just called me up.
Once you do that, then you've taken them off guard. They're like, oh, wow, that's cool. This is different. Then you can say, hey, one of the things I'd like to do as a thank you is offer you a chance to be a local insight on our consumer app. It's going to be viewed by thousands of people, and it's absolutely free to you. It's a gift from me. There are some teams that charge to put insights on their app because they have 50,000 people in their database.
Yeah.
So there are some teams that charge for that. I wouldn't recommend it right now. I mean, let's just come from contribution. Why do you want to be another salesperson? In real estate, we don't sell, we solve, right?
Can you say that again?
So one of
No.
the things that.
Because if I say it, you're going to say what I said. So all I want you to understand is thank them for being a great business owner in your community. No, that's what I would say. Hey, thanks for being a great business owner in our community. It makes it easy for us to do real estate. We can move families in, and they love to stay here. Wow, the person's like, holy cow, who's this? This is great. I want to meet this guy or gal. And say, hey, I'd like to set up a time with you to drop by and show you how I'd like to give you a free opportunity to be in our consumer app.
Did you say there's a video that shows how?
There's a video, yeah, maybe we can bring, we don't have a screen in here, we
Not yet.
can bring it up on the laptop and show you what that looks like.
What's the video for? So it's for Kelly.
Yeah, don't worry about the how right now, just worry about why you'd be calling them, that's the big thing. Calling them to thank them, so just practice that. Because if you get a little of that nervous inside of your system in here, and it's more nerve-wracking in here than it is out there, you'll be good to go. I'll tell you about the how after.
When we're calling, are we like asking for the owner?
I don't know, who do you want to talk to?
The owner.
Okay, who would you ask for then?
The owner.
See, we all
Makes a little bit of sense.
That works. Good question.
Yeah.
So you may know the manager, or you may know one of the servers, and you really like the server.
Right.
You know, wouldn't that be cool if you said, hey, always ask for Sheila, she's a great server at Riverside Cafe. That's an awesome thing. That even shows that you're even that much more personally involved in the community.
Right.
So, whoever you know.
So if I want to drive by today and do this, how can I approach that? Or?
Don't worry about
What do I
how.
need to know about
Don't worry about
that?
how right now. Just practice the why you would call them, and I'll help you with the how after. Just trust me. It will make sense. It will make sense.
But I like to go.
I trust you will. Practice that one right there.
Which one being a great
all my customers, all my friends, everybody, and I want to put
Is there any way I
you
could,
in
is
your
there a day that
Can I come by? First I wanted to see the proposal
All right, switch. If we haven't already switched. All right, 1, 2, 3. Who'd like to work through that on a role play? There you go. Fantastic. We'll do 2. Make them quick.
Should we go together?
Huh?
Go together?
No, go with me. I'll be the business owner.
Ring ring.
Hello.
Hey, this is Chachi calling with Keller Williams Realty. How you doing today?
Chachi. From Happy Days?
No, not the Happy Days one, but just as important.
That could be your tagline. Happy Days with Chachi.
That could be.
Only our age group.
I like that.
Yeah.
Only our age group.
I'm talking about
You outed me, man. Yeah. Hey, how are you?
I'm doing great. How you doing today?
I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking.
Listen, I was just wanting to call and say thank you for being a business owner in the community. You make it really easy for real estate agents to bring people in here to live and stay. For me, to bring clients to Saco and stay.
Wow. Well, thanks. I've never had anyone actually thank me for being a business owner.
Yeah, no, so I actually wanted to take it a step further and highlight you in our consumer app. I was wondering if you have some time tomorrow, I can swing by, show you a little bit what that looks like and get a quote for you and we can go from there.
Yeah, as far as quotes, our budget is tapped for marketing right now, so I really don't have any money for that kind of thing. I appreciate the call, though.
Absolutely. Well, the best part about this is completely free to you. Like I said, I just really want to thank you for being a great business owner.
Wow. Well, how could I say no to that?
Absolutely.
How'd he do?
Awesome.
What did he do well? What did he do well?
He rebounded.
He did.
He threw a curveball
Yeah.
at him, and
He did it naturally. What else did he do well?
Enthusiastic.
You could hear it in his energy.
Yeah.
Caught me. Yeah. What could he work on?
Maybe schedule an appointment to stop by.
Yeah.
Perfect time.
And I think it's just practice, right? I mean, we just caught you off guard. You did a good job. Kudos. Good job. Awesome. Give me a hand. All right, let's give it one more time. Scott, does this remind you of anything?
Yes.
Scott was in a class where we actually had 21 people sign into the class and 19 of them capped within 3 months.
Nice.
Yeah. It's a light ringer. Hello.
Hi, can I please speak with the business owner?
Yes, just a minute, please. Hello.
Hello, this is Laura Dion with Keller Williams Realty. How are you?
Good. I'm not interested right now.
So I'm actually not trying to sell anything or get you to buy anything. I just wanted to call you and thank you for being a local business, and thank you for contributing to our community.
Wow. Well, thank you. Hey, I appreciate that.
Yeah. No
What can I do for you?
Yeah. I just, like I said, just wanted to call and thank you. I personally enjoy shopping at small local businesses myself, and I also wanted to give you a chance to be highlighted on our new consumer app. It's free marketing. It gets you out there to our clients.
Well, we're really tight on money right now. We don't have a lot of budget money set aside for marketing. We're just really word of mouth.
Yeah, I completely understand that, and I just want to reiterate that it is free. I can swing by sometime tomorrow and show you how it works, show you what it would look like if you're interested.
Yeah, why not? Sure.
Great, I'll
Love
be
to
by
have
at
you by.
3.
3 o'clock works for me.
Excellent. See
Be
you
the
then.
big guy with the cigar.
Okay.
That's just a little tip. You might want to let people know how they'll know you. Say, when I walk in, I'll give you my business card. Because I've sat at Denny's or somewhere to meet somebody, and they might have walked in, I had no clue. They had no clue I was there. So when I walk in, I'll give you my business card or something like that. Great job. What did she do well?
Handled your objection.
Didn't she? Yeah. And it was natural.
Yes.
Because that's what we're good at. We're good at all that. We're good at that. That's just when you're calling to give, doesn't it just kind of lighten there's no stress in that call, is there? It's actually kind of a fun call to make.
I actually felt she was really efficient too. She was very precise, which I know for me, I need to work on that. So that was really great. It was good.
One thing I would change, and you did a great job. Instead of saying, I want to give you a chance, so I'd love to feature your business in our local consumer
Not
app.
like I'm doing them a favor.
Yeah.
that sounds-
Make it just all about them.
Yeah, and I had written opportunity, like give you the opportunity.
Good job, good job. Let's give her a hand. So, you've given you 2 more things that we've highlighted that we've worked on. Let's just continue to work on it. Who do you know that I should know? Let's connect with local businesses. That's the way I started my business when I came to work for Tammy. When I was a commercial realtor, I went into residential. It's exactly how I did it. I went to all the industrial parks that I'd worked in so long, and I just went in and thanked people for being in business. And that's how I started to get business. And that's how I started to know people outside of my sphere of influence for industrial real estate. Yes.
So I have a quick question. So like, we're talking like smaller family type businesses, right? But can we scale that to like bigger businesses, and how would that change?
Well, when the consumer app drops out, there's going to be a map of your community. And wouldn't it be a good idea to, your consumer app, you don't necessarily, like if you like to shop at Target, you could put a pin drop on Target and say, hey, great place for me to pop in on my way home from work to pick up, things for dinner. So you can do that. It could be a big office company. Hey, I've done a lot of work with these folks over the year. If you're ever looking for somebody for commercial office furniture, drop on by and see Jeff. Just make it personal, because what you want is when people are looking at all these pin drops. You guys do that now, don't you? Hover over a pin drop and see what somebody said about it. Wouldn't it be cool if every pin drop they dropped on was you saying, hey, you ought to talk to Sally. She does such a great job with hair. She's the gal I go to. So you just want people to start seeing how you know the community. When they know you know the community, they're going to be like, geez, you're the logical choice for real estate. I got to be connected with that. Does that make sense? So small business, big business. If you like the bridge because it gets you home quicker, take a photo of it and say, this is one of the largest drawbridges in the world, and it gets me home faster. Hope you enjoy it. Just have fun with this stuff. Take a picture out at the 2 lights. Take a picture at your favorite park where you walk your dog. Those are local interest things that people love too. And then what the business does is it gets us to talk to people that know a lot of people.
I
have a perfect example about how knowledge of an area is extremely beneficial. I received a referral from my team. I'm on the Hatcher group, and this person is coming from Canada, and they're looking in the Ogunquit area. And I've done business down there, but I'm not overly familiar with it. And so I reached out to John, who owns property down there, and I let my buyer know that I was going to include him in on a conference call. And when I introduced him, and John was able to say, hey, when you're in town, this is where you should eat. This is what, the guy told him where he was planning on staying. He said, if you want to have access to the town, which it sounds like you want to do, this is where you should stay. And the knowledge base was incredible, and it solidified our relationship. He actually was very appreciative of the fact that we're working as a team, and if I don't know the answer, John will know the answer.
It's very powerful, and there's a great example of it. What I want you to know about this is this technology is still being incubated, and as soon as the public app drops out, we've had some people in Keller Williams that are part of that lab. As soon as this new app comes to the public, it's going to be huge. The current app that you have right now, just by a matter of course, everyone that you come in contact, you ought to be sending them a link to your personal app. Because we bought the company that owns that personal app right now, and it's going to migrate without any issues over to the new consumer app. So I don't need to get into any of that. There's all kinds of contractual stuff there. But when that happens, it all converts over. So the goal right now is to get as many people as you know with that app, because anytime they look at real estate, all they have to do is literally be in front of it, say houses for sale nearby, shows all the houses in the area. Yeah, I like that house, press on that house. For more information, press here, and it calls you or texts you automatically.
This is the Keller Williams app.
Right now,
The
Keller Williams app. Yeah. Kelly's just for the agents. Yeah, Kelly's for the agents. Kelly's going to go away. It's going to migrate into Command. Kelly was just the way we birthed that AI technology. I don't want to freak you guys out.
How's Insight gonna? If Kelly's
Insight's
gone,
in
how's
the consumer
Insight?
app. That
There's
all
gonna be an app
transfers
for
into the
agents
consumer app.
And an app for
Oh, it'll Kelly will be gone, but we have
Kelly's
to
just a
use
way to
Kelly right
input
now to do
information into
Insight.
Command. Yeah,
Got it.
Command is actually the brain of everything we do. Yeah. Yes.
So like today, one of my neighbors was interested in the house, and so I sent him the listing via the Keller Williams app.
Mm-hmm.
So now, because I sent that to him, does that mean he automatically had to download the app to view that listing?
No.
Okay.
You want to make sure everyone has that app, so wherever if they go, a lot of our friends are going to go to Florida or Arizona for a vacation this winter. They're going to see a house, and they're going to come back and say, "You believe what we did? We bought a house when we were in Arizona. We always wanted the second house." And you're going to be like, "Great!" When if they had your app, they could have easily just said, "I need more information from my agent," and it would have emailed you, text you, or call you. Just like that.
So when
And
you
would
send
get the
somebody a
referral.
listing, they're not necessarily getting it in the app. They're able to access it, but it's only that.
Correct.
They don't have the app.
Correct.
They just have.
The only way that they would have the app, Erica, is if you click on the Share My App
Share app.
button and
Is there
then
any
put
way
in.
we can lab that?
Yeah, take out your
send it to my husband.
Take out your phone right now. Take out your phone right now. This will be really quick and easy. Won't hurt. Go to your Keller Williams Realty app. If you don't have it, we'll help you get it on there right now. Go to your Play Store.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, is there any way we can lab that so that when we do share a
Yeah.
listing with someone, that they would need to have, that it would
Send it-
automatically
send it to
download the app to
international.
them?
Yeah.
And then they'd have the app without even
I think
really.
you can automatically download. I don't think you can force it.
Go into
I think you can do an
Kelly.
automatic
What do you-
download for now.
She wants Keller Williams to fix that, so
Yes.
that, yeah.
To fix what?
So that if I say, if I'm working with somebody and they don't have the app yet, or even if it's just a neighbor that loves to talk real estate with me, that I could send them a local listing, and when they click on that listing to see it, it prompts them to download the app to view the listing.
You actually could, you could say, here's, I'm sending you a link to my
Well,
app,
text me.
accept the link to my app, and then put in the address.
Yeah,
Then-
it comes
then
into
you feel
it comes
comfortable.
into privacy issues. We really want to have the connection with somebody. Say, hey, I'm sending you my app. Would you like it? Matter of fact, while you're on the phone right now, I've sent it to you. Did you get it? Awesome. Open it up. Type in that property.
Okay.
There you go.
So don't necessarily send them the app, don't necessarily send them the listing, because that doesn't get the app on the phone, send them the app and then point them to the listing.
Well, you could, yeah, I'm not telling you not to send them the listing. You say, hey, I've sent you the listing. Even better, if you want to search real estate like realtors do, I'm sending you my app. You're not going to get any crap with it from like Zillow or Twillo or Gazillo or whatever those companies are out there. Ours is a pure app. Like, if you want to search real estate like a realtor does, like I do, I'm sending you my personal app. You get that?
Yeah.
Okay. So did you all see on that the opening, the landing page for your app where it says share my app?
Yeah.
You ought to just put a hole in your phone's glass over that thing. Let's just light that up, because then if you had 500 people with your app, what if you got 5 transactions a year just from that? How many transactions have we gotten over the year from setting people up on a search, and then a year later they're like, you know, you set us up on a search about a year ago. And then these guys have that in their hand all the time, and people are always wondering what's going on in their neighborhood. Bridget King just listed the house next door to us. Thank goodness she sold 2 houses next to our house. We love that. Vermette. I said King, yeah, wrong company. She'll be with us someday. I could find out what was going on my street. This year we had more houses than ever on our street that sold. And I love that. I could find out right on my app what was going on. Love that, love that, love that. So I don't want to get into an app discussion.
Okay.
Because it's not about the how, it's about why. Right now the why is you desire to build your database, get great people in touch with your database.
Can I share something real quick?
Really quick.
I sent it to Malachi.
Yeah.
He couldn't click on anything until he added me as a contact. So just FYI, make sure they add you as a contact.
In your phone, he had to add you as a contact in his phone.
I've never had that happen before.
Or you text
I've
them.
had that.
So if you email,
I've never had that happen.
They do it through email. And then it responds back to you saying that they actually signed up, which is what you have to watch for. They have to sign up.
Yeah.
If you do it
It's-
through email.
It's
which
yeah.
is-
I just always do it through text. I don't think I've ever done it through an email. But
When you're sharing it with a friend, I guess they're already in your database, so just be aware if they're not your friend, if they're not in your phone.
I'll stay for questions about how for a little bit after this. And I don't want to get clouded on how, because the how shows up. It's the why you're doing this. So let me, the third area in your lead generation quest. So the first area is what? We learned already. We learned who do you know that I should know? You can double your database that way, friends. If you choose not to, that's on you. That's okay. It's no judgment. The second technique is thank people in your community and let them know. Right now, that app isn't out yet. It's coming out. And if you'd like, we're going to give you a link. Can we send a link to the video to everybody?
Yes, I'll post it to Facebook.
Post it to Facebook so you can grab it off that. And then the third thing that we talked about, what was the third thing? We didn't recap that, did we? It's in the email you put together.
Does anybody know what the third action step was?
Brain cramp, sorry, flew across the country last night. I'll come back to it. This is what I want to share with you right now. How many of you people have that are out there actively talking to people, have had people say, we're thinking about listing, although we want to wait till spring, we don't want to list during the holidays?
I have.
Yeah. See, there's a class they're offering on weekends to teach potential sellers how to say that script. So a lot of people have gone to that class and they use that script pretty well. So let's talk about that phenomenon. Let's talk about that. I'm kidding. Yeah.
I was gonna say, what is that on the home buyers first class there?
What's that?
The first time home buyers class?
First time home sellers class.
Home sellers class, yeah, that's happening all over the place. So the buyers and sellers, they go and they get script practice, and they outscript most of the realtors out there. My job is to make sure that you don't get outscripted if you choose not to. So here's what you're going to hear a lot of. You know, we want to wait. We want to wait for the opportunity to sell. We like to do it in the springtime. Our home show's better in the spring. Don't want to have the hassle of selling a home during the holidays, all that kind of stuff. Has anybody heard that yet? Okay. How do we answer that?
Interest rates are going up, or they're going to go up.
Okay, do you know that to be in fact?
No, but they're probably not going to go down.
They just went down.
They did, but they're at their lowest point in history.
Okay, so don't ever tell people what's going to happen with the market. Say, this could happen.
Yeah.
Because you could go to jail for insider trading. Apparently you have an eye on something that I don't. Right? You know what I'm saying, Tim?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we can work on that. So, yes.
Say, well, there's a shortage of inventory right now because most people do think like you. And the buyers that are here in the market, they're really serious and they're looking to get in before Christmas,
Here you
before
go.
the snow flies.
And there's less buyers, I've used that. There's less shoppers now than there will be in the spring, I've used that.
Yeah, so right now could be a possibly their best time to sell. May I explain? Great. When can we get together so I can explain that to you? Yeah, I'd love to have you pop by the office. You're way more powerful in here than going to somebody's house. And people think, well, you got to go to the house to listen. No, have them come here. Because the next time you do a listing, you go and you meet somebody for a consultation and the baby starts crying or the cat jumps up on you, it takes you out of your game. When they come here, first off, you know automatically they're what?
Serious.
And then secondly, you've got this whole environment. I mean, you got a beautiful class office. Take them into one of the conference rooms and really have a consultation with them and say, you know, I really appreciate your thoughts on this. And as I promised, this is what I'd like to explain to you. In the holiday, and I always ask it in the form of questions, during the holiday season, do you think there are more buyers or less buyers out there walking around? Less, yeah. Why do you think that?
Because they're focused on the holidays.
It's cold, they're busy. Yeah, absolutely. Got a lot of things going on. So what would that lead you to believe that the buyers that are out during this time of year?
Very motivated.
They're very motivated, yeah. And do you think that this time of year, there's a lot of people clamoring to get their house on the market?
Yeah.
See how I'm asking them? Because what I'm doing is I'm building trust. Because if I tell them everything, it's all coming from my perspective. So when I get it from their perspective, I say, you know what? I think you're absolutely right about that. There are less buyers out there. And the ones that are out there are more serious. See, now whose perspective am I coming from? Theirs. Get it? You're validating them. And now they're starting to feel a trust. And that starts with educating. When you don't educate somebody, if you just skip that step, I can guarantee you, because I've done it several times, maybe Tammy has too, she's way better than I am. If you skip educating a client before you go into a relationship with them, it's going to get wonky. And there'll be a time, Scott, you've been around long enough to know this, there'll be a time when they won't return your phone call. Or if they talk to you, it will just sound weird. Like, have you ever had a relationship that was just weird and you were on the phone, it's like, this is just weird. That's what's going on. You skip something, okay?
Plus, when you get them thinking, they're more likely to act than...
Yeah, when you get them thinking about things, they're going to stay thinking. Good point, Scott. So we want to move between emotion and logic. So I've got them thinking. They're responding to me. I'm coming from, I like your perspective. I think that's true. And then we're going to ask them about the sellers. And what I want you to know about the sellers is I want you to know that there are less sellers coming on the market. And I'd be asking those questions. And why do you think there are less sellers?
People don't want people coming in their house during the holidays and having it already.
Yeah, they don't like having to have their house all ready during the holidays. Well, isn't during the holidays when your house looks the nicest during the year? Yeah, you know, most people, their houses look amazing during the holidays. They spend a lot of time and money and effort to make them look wonderful. Could that be an emotional attachment if somebody walked in your house and it was beautifully decorated? See where we're going? Now it's coming from their perspective. I'm asking the questions, they're dominating the conversation. So we know that the houses oftentimes are gussied up for the holidays. That's great for people coming in. They love the scent of cookies and all the other fun stuff. You put cinnamon soap in my...
I was wondering if you like it.
Smell like a ginger man bread cookie. So there's all those smells going on that we typically like, okay? And who's in control when we list a property? Who?
Seller.
Yeah, did you know, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, that you're in control of this entire process? And if you don't want to have showings 5 days a week, we could actually make this an exclusive listing and have showings on Tuesdays and Thursdays between 2 and 5. And if a house closes on, if a house goes under contract on December 15th, when will it close? Exactly, Mrs. Seller, when you want it to close. The reason people choose me is because I can help them through negotiations, make sure that things work in their favor. May not get everything, although we could really work on you closing on January 15th. Because closing in the middle of the month is way better than closing at the end of the month. Can I explain? And then you can tell them why closing the end of the month is a catastrophe. I mean, the mortgage people got horns growing out of their heads. The moving people that, you know, they're moving too many people. The title companies are all, you do it on the 15th, it's like so much easier. It might be a little bit more expensive, but it is not more expensive when you consider all the headaches of what happens at the end of the month. So what I'm just getting to here, friends, is you let them know they're in control, and you'll negotiate to every opportunity to make sure that they don't close on a day they don't want to close on and such like that. See, people have it in their head they're not going to do it in the holidays because you got to have people in their house every single day. You know, there's snow on the ground, the house isn't going to show that well. If you got a serious buyer, they got to buy. They're going to buy something. It's either going to be your house or somebody else's house. My job is to make sure it's your house. So we can really turn that whole thought around and make this one of the best selling opportunities of the year. So interest rates right now are what? They're low. So that means buyer power is what? High. Which means we can do what with price? In some places, we may be able to push the upwards of the range on pricing. Another good reason. We don't know what's going to happen in the spring, Mr. and Mrs. Seller. Do you know what's going to happen to the rates, Mr. Seller? Neither do I. And that would be the risk we take by waiting.
Election year?
Election year? Well, one of the things we know historically about election years is interest rates tend to stay pretty much the same. Because no administration wants to do anything, you know, crazy with the Fed.
But the election year makes the market funky. So even more reason to do exactly what we're training and coaching. In the election year, it does tend to cause the market to go funky. They don't know who's coming in. They don't trust the new candidate potentially that they believe. There's all kinds of stuff on that.
So lock in now. Lock in now. Yeah. Makes a big difference. Like I worked in Washington, D.C. That makes a big difference when they change administrations because there's hundreds of thousands of people moving in and out of that city. So I worked with the Keller Williams agents down there, and that's every 2 years they got just a whole bunch of business going on. So they kind of like that stuff. So right now we got high buyer power.
Can I ask?
No.
So I've heard in the past that like every whatever point in interest they increases the what is that? Do you know what that is?
Tamika would be a great reference for that. And yes,
just gives them more buying
Scott,
power.
Do you mind if I answer?
Please, yeah.
I always coach my buyers that, you know, the longer you wait, the more you're giving the market to shift. And every time that the interest rate goes up a full point, you're losing 10% of your buying power. So if you have a mortgage payment, a targeted mortgage payment of, say, $1,000, and that buys you a $200,000 home, now you're looking, in order to keep the same mortgage payment, you're looking at a $180,000 home. And I can tell you that there is a huge difference between $180,000 and $200,000. So when would you like to buy, and what would you like to buy with your money?
Great script.
So Scott, what did you say? One point in interest was 10 grand? Is it
10%.
10%?
Yeah. So a 0.5% is 5%. So now you've gone from $200,000 home to $190,000 home.
That's such good education right there. Here's the deal: always make sure it's approximate.
Yeah.
Never tell them to take approximately 10%, like Scott said. Always make sure you're putting that approximate in there because we are not licensed in that area. That's powerful education. Thanks, Scott. That's huge. Good question. Great question.
Thank you.
All right. So do we have give me some of the great opportunities to sell in the holiday seasons. If you haven't said anything today, this would be a good time to say something.
Like you said, the home's already staged, pretty much.
Home staged, love that, yeah. It's even sniff proof, right?
Yeah.
Cinnamon,
Exactly.
all that, whatever, nutmeg. What else?
The buyers that are out there are serious buyers.
Serious buyers, yeah, absolutely serious buyers. These are the buyers that have either been told that they're getting a promotion, they're getting a demotion, they're being transferred. So they've got timelines. They're coming into town. They got to make things happen.
They're trying to crush it between holidays.
Yeah. And you get to be the person to help them out. What else?
There's less competition because because there's fewer sellers.
Less competition, yeah. So that means we get to look at the higher points sometime in pricing, or maybe even create an auction environment if we price effectively. And we talked about interest rates. Right now, we know for a fact is interest rates are low, which means it gives buyer power. And you got a great education script from Scott. For every % the interest rate goes up, the buyer loses approximately 10% of their buying power. So, Mr. Seller, what does that mean for you? Do you think we should wait, or should we go after something now? It will become so natural. The word close, you have to close somebody, doesn't really exist if you do a great conversation. It just becomes so, like, should we go to work today on this or tomorrow? Is that a close? That's a close, right? It's an alternative. It's called an alternative close, presumptively. And it's just natural. It's just natural. If you partner with the problem and not the transaction, it becomes so much more natural. So the problem that we have here, one, is that we could be fighting interest rates going up. The problem that we have here, two, could be we don't want to sell during the holidays because we want people in our house every day of the week. The other problem, I really don't want to sell and have to close before we take the Christmas tree down. We can solve all those, can't we? So if you partner with that, and most importantly, why are they moving? Well, we're moving because it's better for my husband's joints to be down south. His doctor said for his arthritis, it would be best for him to get down south. Can we help them with that? That's what we're partnering with. That's what we do, and then we just solve the real estate problems to make that happen. Does that make sense? And that's what you folks love to do anyways. That's what I love to do. If I could help somebody to get closer to their parents because their parents are ailing, that makes me feel good. That makes me feel good. Yeah, we're going to get paid commensurate of the problems that we solve. So the bigger problems, the bigger the paycheck.
So I went to visit the FSBO the other day, and the guy that I was talking to is a retired police officer in Portland. He doesn't have any interest in signing me as an agent. But he showed me around his house, we talked, I asked him, I said, what's going on in the neighborhood? There's a lot of houses going up for sale. And he said, I'll tell you what's going on. And he took me outside, and he pointed to a house up the street, which is in foreclosure, he said, but he doesn't know the details about it. He's doing an open house Saturday. I talked with Cash, so I asked him if he could help me research that house. So I'm going to go back and visit him at his open house, and hopefully bring him information about that house that's in foreclosure. So whether I get any referrals from him because of that, I don't know.
So you're looking to be a resource.
But I want, yeah.
Yeah, be strategic in how you give stuff away too.
Right.
Be strategic about that, because you can be giving and giving and giving and not getting. That's great research though. Hey, we can find out what's going on with that home in the neighborhood.
Yeah. And
so I like to call unrepresented sellers. I don't like to call them FSBOs. I like to call them unrepresented sellers.
Yes.
I like to call them on Mondays. I don't necessarily like to visit them during their open houses. Here's the reason why. Because on Monday, if their house hasn't sold, are they in pleasure or are they in pain? I want to talk to people when they're in pain because I'm the doctor. I get people better, right? And I've got a great cure for you. Can't stand getting 40 calls a day from realtors? I've got a great cure for you. I can only imagine what that feels like. Just side with them. Get on their side. When I teach perspective, I teach this whole thing of, if we do this, you should list with me. You should list with me. You should. Oh, you're crazy if you think your house is gonna. No, if you go, hey, tell me why you think your house is worth that. Tell me what your experience has been in the past. I understand. You know what? I probably feel the same way too. Let me share with you a little bit of what I've learned over the years of doing this. Would you like to hear? Great. Back. Forth. Because their perspective is always right. If you challenge it, you're going nowhere. If a for sale by owner thinks that a realtor gets paid way too much, guess what? In their mind, they're right. Because maybe they had a bad experience and they felt like the $16,000 they gave up wasn't worth any of it. So can you change that? If you attempt to change that, guess what? You're just going to get more resistance. So you simply just say, you know what? I can totally understand that. Are you familiar with the way that we get homes sold and why so many people choose us? It would be a good time for us to get together. I'd really like to help you find that next house of yours. And with the unrepresented sellers, I don't go for the listing because they've already said that they don't want to list with a realtor. So be different. Just say, hey, I'm calling you because I call for my sellers in town and I thought you might be a buyer for one of my sellers. Are you moving across town or across country? Just be different. Perspective, back, forth, back. And at some point, they'll say, geez, I thought you were calling to list my house. No, I'm actually calling to see if you were a buyer for one of my sellers. I mean, if you ever hired a broker, wouldn't you want a broker to do that for you? Right? Those are the emotional quotients you'll get to when you just practice some of the scripts that we'll teach you. And being in this room with Tammy and the team and her coaches, it's going to help you guys go so much faster. It took me 12 years to learn what you can learn in 12 months. So, what did you learn today?
How to contact the business owner.
Who do you know?
So, contacting business owners, yeah. What else did you learn? What were the ahas you got from today?
The holiday.
Holiday objections, good, timely. What else? I just flew halfway across the country for this, so help me out. Make me feel like you got something today.
And I have a new slogan.
Practice the script.
You know what? Those mature people out there that have 2 and 3 properties to sell, that's not a bad market to be in.
True.
Not a bad market to be
Validate
in.
the customer.
What's that?
Validate the customer.
Yeah.
That's a huge one.
Yeah, receive their perception. You become their ally very quick.
I like to tell them stuff.
You can do that with your kids too. I mean, we've had plenty of practice with our teenagers who are now adults. If you just ask somebody, tell me how you see it. Tell me how you see this. And they share with you. You'll find out where their fear is, and then you can kind of work with their fear.
Before we lose anybody,
Sorry.
so hold on a second.
You lose me, I'm gone.
I know. Monday, scripts with Cash. Cash is gonna kick some tails. He's gonna tell you how it is. If you're not lead generating, you might as well kiss this business opportunity goodbye. So you're gonna have a real direct and honest approach. You're gonna have an opportunity to script and role play at a high level. He's great. So we're gonna finish the week off. Tiffany's on Friday. Cash will be on Monday. Following scripts and role play on Monday, we've got Chris Triglione coming in to talk to the group. Whoever has gaps on technology, how does ZipForms, DocuSign, and Command all work, and how do I handle this paperwork flow? That's going to directly follow scripts and role play. Please be in here. So scripts and role play is going to go 8 to 9, and then Chris will be 9 to 10.
Where can I find the full calendar for all this stuff?
I've been posting it to Facebook, and I've been sending it via email.
Okay.
And Heather has been adding it to the Market Center calendar.
Okay.
She might not have Chris on there yet, because we just did that, I think, yesterday. So, no Monday buyer focus class. That's going to be Chris Triglione going through the systems. And then we'll be back in the classroom with Mark next Thursday. Is this of value to you guys?
Yes.
Awesome.
Thank you guys. And to all the veterans in the room, thank you for your service. Enjoy your Monday. And appreciate all that you've done for our country.
Thank you, Mark.
See you guys.
Thank you. Do I have a meeting with anybody? Meeting in my calendar, but I don't have a date. Okay, yep. I've got some time.
Appreciate it.
Could I grab one of your waters?
Yeah.
Cool, thank you.
We
There's
put
no
them all in
cups
the
left in the.
Okay, so if anybody has questions for Mark around that inside, lab, video, where behind it?
I'm finding it in my computer.
Mark, a couple minutes. Go pick his brains.
Are you posting that?
I was like, we should go into a costume of an office, because in that way, it's less.
Some people like the one side.
No, what?
Okay, they might know. Yeah. You want to try it? I'll grab my computer.
There's 3
Guys, if you don't mind, if you're sitting in one of these chairs, just help me when you leave, not now, when you leave, we'll just step back.
We've had one meeting. Yep. So is it, we're gonna meet again every 2 weeks? Well, until I kind of figure out, get everybody forward consistently. Yeah, so, we're not on the calendar. Text me. Sync our calendars.
I saw you, I absolutely, I'm like,
I'll send you a shout out. Because I'm facing some more new people. You know, sitting next to
I feel like there's gonna be more people working in my so that's kind of one of the reasons.
The first year, I talked Not even talk about it.
No,
Probably were like, I thought it was this, I wanted bookmark.
sales and other.
Yeah, no.
Right around the same supplier
So all kinds of.
I do it here.
Yeah.
Oh, they are, so they're not. One that's just one that's.
So mine through Google and I open up a fresh page.
But you'd share that.
And then
it's all
Did you get your signatures?
I mean, it's there, but it's huge. And I spent all morning trying to figure it out.
Where's your laptop? Let me,
I went back to screenshot one of his pages and tried to move it. And I even changed it into a PDF and then tried the same thing would happen.
Okay. Pull it up to the pages and let me.
Well, it's the perfect size. I would think that's the perfect size.
Yeah.
But it doesn't show the shape.
Yeah.
How do I,
to establish taxes of 80, any variation. So that
Yeah.
Then I would.
So there's just for no reason.
So then I was going to say, is that
It never happened, but that's how powerful that script is.
I know. Do I need to know what software grade is Excellent. So I'll be working out my signature.
Oh, yeah, I want to do that.
Okay. I'll set you up. My email signature is basically, it looks like this, but mine's a little bit different. Yeah, they want me to set theirs up. I have no problem doing it if you want help.
I'd love that, actually.
I'm gonna talk to her when she comes back in. That's part of the reason. Yeah, that's part of the reason why.
And the other thing is, I think this guy's got a lot, so not.
Start off on that. Take advantage of the knowledge that you have.
This is the account, right?
Yeah, okay, so I ended up going, and the other thing is,
Okay, yeah. They accept that, validate taxes, see if it's assessed at 100%. Pay well and everyone.
no, I didn't end up noticing, I didn't end up
Number of
finding
beds.
that I was here.
And then of course, if you're in there, you want to stop down at that code enforcement.
Is that it?
Right. I'm gonna try this and then I can see if it's like.
Your regular email, just type in Gmail.
Numbers and everything.
Yeah, there we go. That was
You said you were using your,
Yep.
your email, right?
What are those right now?
That makes sense.
229 now.
That was my little one.
And you said 629.
Okay, well, he's done.
But
So
now-
our direction's probably not gonna be on it.
Oh, I thought you said you wanted to work for fundraisers. Oh, right.
And the way we know is that that's.
You know what?
Not too much.
Email it to me.
Okay.
I'll read it,
Done,
and then
so-
what we'll do is we'll get together based on it. And if it has to be, we can do it on Zoom. If we can't get together personally, whatever, we can do it video conference. Awesome, man.
Appreciate it.
You got it, brother. I have that video clip.
Just send it to me and then unless you can.
That's what you do, choose one of those two.
I'll do it at home tonight. It's embedded in
Like, what's that?
presentation.
Unrepresented seller. Yes. Thank you. Put it up on Facebook, how it goes.
Is it free?
Oh, your meeting? It'll be fine. I have today. Yep. You're the expert, hon. Yeah, quite. This one you have to talk off the.
And then where is she coming in?
Not like you know, so that's not for the house, you wanna bring in.
Thank you, Mark.
You're welcome.
Very much.
Good seeing you.
Good to see you too.
All right, see you next week.
Yes.
I see a little bit, see, now this is what I
Okay,
don't.
what time do you think you'll be done?
Gosh, at the latest, yeah, at the latest. They've got somebody moving them along, so I'm looking hopefully by 5. But I'll call you, I'll text you, okay?
Have fun. Where's the house? Maybe I'll drive by it.
It's on,
Yeah. Field?
it's on,